Eugene, the latest one, excessive language. Mr. Kennedy Ejapong blows his mouth off, and the state sees it fit to charge him with terrorism, genocide, treason. Are these words that reassure Ghanaians much more than the international community?
Well, let me take the opportunity to say good evening to your esteemed viewers. Like I said, Agenda 2012 document is going to be our Bible for this election. Okay. Look at I think page 8 of page 10 of the document, which says countering the Woyomi saga. It talked about arresting some past officials of the S administration. That was one. Number two, they specifically dedicated a half a page on Kennedy Ejapong, right? And I was reading it this afternoon. It's very interesting. They are finding every way to shut Kennedy Ejapong up.
Okay.
So all the developments over the past week, I mean, a clear indication of the government's attempts to, caging Kennedy Ejapong, as it were. I'll quote briefly from the 2012 document. It says, Kennedy has been at the forefront of the Woyomi Gate. He's even bent on revealing federal rots in the government. Stopping him, getting him busy with unnecessary things, and dividing his attention are vital. We suggest strongly that Kennedy should be linked to the cocaine case. And let me
that
go.
Was the limping man.
Yeah, the limping man. Force him to declare the source of his wealth, so to make the public chastise him. And the last but not the least, do everything possible to frustrate him and make him uncomfortable so he will surrender. So clearly, the arrest of Kennedy Ejapong is a clear indication that this government must find a way at all costs to shut Kennedy Ejapong up.
Yes.
Look at the charges, for example. Treason, treason felony, and
attempted genocide.
Attempted genocide.
Plus terrorism.
We've heard worse statements. The current president in 2008 in Mori, in the central region, said Ghana will burn like Kenya. Right? Esidu Nketia says if we go ahead and implement the biometric registration with the verification, there'll be civil war in Ghana. 2 weeks ago, Koku Anyido said somebody was singing like a canary, and all the borders must be closed. Right? Then we had, who else? Was it Richard Kwashiga? Making strong subversive statements. What happened? Nothing from the side of the government. We had Neil Antivanderpoy on Good Morning Ghana saying he was going to resist foreigners with his blood. All these things happened under the full glare of President John Evans Atta Mills, the so-called Asumdwe Hene. Right? And I mean, let's talk about the statement that our party issued vis-a-vis Kennedy Ejapong's arrest. He talked about three things. He says the president want to put a fear of the Asumdwe Hene in the MPP to intimidate and cow our leadership into submission. That was one. Number two, to punish MP Ejapong for leading the crusade on the single biggest corruption scandal in the history of Ghana. That's the Woyomi Gate, 51 million Ghana cedis that was paid to Alfred Woyomi, the 94 million that was paid to CP, and then the 24 million that was paid to Waterville. Okay. The government must find a way of burying this bad news, especially in our election year. It's all a major distraction. That's all it is here. They know the charges won't stand up in any court of competent jurisdiction. So, but they must find a way, right, to distract the public attention, right? Because it's always been the modus operandi of the NDC. We saw it under former President Rawlings' regime, right? And we are seeing it under Atta Mills. The same people around President Rawlings are the same people around President John Evans Atta Mills. And the same strategy, the same mentality, the same Gestapo mentality. Arrest them, put them in, intimidate them, do this, do that. And that has been the modus operandi of this government. And the earlier they sort of backed off and looked at the national picture and the national agenda and was going to move this country forward, the better for this administration.
But that is my worry. Do they realize that these tactics cannot be for the narrow person of Kennedy Ejapong or any other threatened MPP leader? It cannot be for the narrow confinement and containment of the MPP as a political party. And that these actions impact Ghana as a whole, that these actions reflect on Ghana internationally. Is that realization there?
Difficult to say. I mean, first and foremost, let me say a very good evening to our cherished listeners. Yeah, it is difficult to say. Okay. From the side that we are, me and you, we don't know what goes through their minds. I think that winning elections has become a critical theme for the government, particularly in this election year. So therefore, every action they take is viewed
in terms of
elections. Otherwise, given the things that have happened in this country, I mean, let me first place a caveat. I want to reiterate that as a party, we have said that what he said does not reflect our party position.
That's right.
What he said is just the venting of an angry person, frustrated angry person. You see, I always say this, that the statisticians will tell you that any population is dumbbell shaped. 90-95% of the population would be regular people, and there would always be a fringe. If there's a fringe in one population, there certainly would also be a fringe in another population. And it is important that all of us understand that if all of us don't begin to control the fringe elements in our population, certainly the issues that have come up would come up. Our elders have a saying that in every house there's a Mensa, in every house there's a madman. But it is of no use to begin to talk about, hey, as for us, there are crazy men amongst us, so you know. And I want to believe that this has gone on, this bravado, this impunity, this I can say anything I like and nobody says anything, has gone on for a little too long. So therefore, unfortunately, then the fringe element amongst us also begin to say, after all, let us situate what happened. There was a discussion on radio. Yes. What was that discussion about? It was about the going on in Ododododo. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
And then Kennedy Japan called into the program.
Yes.
The basic assumption is that if nothing had happened, like in my constituency, if everybody had been allowed to vote, if I am not sure, I would ask that, or my agents would ask that it be challenged. If this particular situation in Ododododo had not happened, then Kennedy Japan would have had no basis, there would have been no discussion, and would have had no basis to call into a program and then gone over his top. Okay. It is important for us to situate. The point is that we must all clearly understand that we are enjoying some peace, but it is not an absolute situation. Okay. It is because all of us in the population that are moderates seem to let us create space. That is the word. Yes. So therefore, something has gone wrong. We all agree. I mean, but I think that I am a little disappointed with the statement, with what His Excellency the Vice President said. That you don't make a bad situation worse.
Thank you.
I think this is exactly what is happening. In the period after this incident, there's one particular radio station that almost made it their signature tune. You know, would play Kennedy. I mean, yes, the man said something that is not palatable. The man said something that is not wholesome. The man said something that does not augur well for the unity of this country. But so he said it. Why do you keep playing it and emphasizing it?
Is that the best way of managing it? Is that the best
way of managing it? And then if you go on to say that this amounts to treason, this amounts to genocide, I mean, we are beginning to talk about Rwanda, you know, and the images of over 1 million dead people. So therefore, it is not surprising that in today's paper, very clearly, Dr. Abiy is beginning to say that probably all of this is hurting the economy. And I was surprised this afternoon when I heard that the CD is almost at 1.9. I was surprised. And then in my discussion with a friend of mine, we said that Ghana is touted as the fastest growing economy, and at the same time we are we are the fastest depreciating. We have the fastest depreciating currency. You wonder.
So they will tell us.
They will tell us that they have so much reserves. 4.5 billion now. So they should go and bring some so that they stabilize this economy, because essentially the Ghanaian economy is an importing economy. It is not an exporting economy. You understand? Yeah, virtually 70-80% of everything we do in this country is imported.
Okay.
So it is not a helpful situation at all. At all. Forget about the businessman. Let us talk about me and you that walk on the street. To the extent that the rates are changing, what the customs will charge as duties will change. So therefore, the final price...
The people who have borrowed in dollars at the lower CD rates are now having to look for more CDs.
All these merchants that would have to sell on credit. You do work for government on credit. When you were doing this thing, when you were sending your indent, it was at 1.5, and then you go back and it is, when you have to pay back, it is 1.9. Yeah. You are incurring such major exchange losses.
Yes.
It is not comfortable, and I think these are the things that government must be averting its mind and attention to. Something has gone wrong. The best way to do it is for us to moderate the situation and not rather exacerbate it.
All right. Now let us take a quick look at today's graphic. The front page is very telling. It has bold black letters. Political tension unhealthy. And then up there in the pinkish letters, SEPA AGI Labour War. I'll read a bit of it. And this is in direct contrast to what the governor of the bank purports is happening. The governor of the Bank of Ghana insists that it's an excess amount of cedis chasing a little dollar. And that is what is creating the run on the cedi. And that he said something that it's portends inflation or otherwise. He hasn't, he said analysts are talking the cedi down. His reason was that commentators are talking the cedi down, and because of that, they are eroding confidence. Now, if you go deeper into what is meant by talking the cedi down, I think today we have to thank Dr. Abe for being very bold and frank in coming out with the truth. Dr. Abe says, the Executive Director of the Center for Policy Analysis, SEPA, and the President of the Association of Ghana Industries say the rising political tension can undermine investor confidence in the local economy. While the SEPA boss, Dr. Joe Abe, attributed the fall in the value of the cedi to the high demand for the dollar due to fears of political uncertainty regarding the December polls, Nana Owusu-Afare said no businessman would invest in areas where there was persistent conflict. They therefore appealed to politicians, political parties, and their agents to diffuse the political tension which was gradually creeping into the political discourse for the sake of the national economy. So you have the problem outlined clearly and the situation also clearly given. That rising political tension is undermining confidence in the economy. There is that clear link between the political environment, the political space, and the economy, and then the proposed solution that all the politicians and the leaders should moderate themselves, their language, and their actions. And it is against that backdrop that we find His Excellency the Vice President saying that he would prefer a bulldozer to a sledgehammer. You're laughing.
Anyway, yeah, what is more worrying is that we have a professor of law as president and a PhD holder in law as Attorney General Minister for Justice. That is what worries me. I mean, I was listening to the BBC news. I think Honorable Kennedy Japan was arrested and was captured. BBC News
said these things.
So these are worrying developments in our country indeed, right? And also, I'll refer viewers back to the statement that the party issued. It says, seeking to discredit the character of MPA Japan will not whitewash the criminal wrongdoing of the Ms. Mahama administration. Because as a party, we are going to tell Ghana, we are going to tell the entire world what this Ms. Mahama administration has been up to for the last 3.5 years. And nothing will prevent us from doing that. So what we are seeking from the government is to allow a level playing field for Ghanaians and in the entire world to know the truth about this administration. Number one, what hasn't gone on? What do you do from day one of the registration exercise? Milante Vanderpoy. He claims to be a Ghanaian. Is Vanderpoy a Ghanaian name? Ask me.
Well,
he is trying to prevent Ghanaians from registering, right? Because if you don't speak Ga, you cannot register in that constituency. Imagine if I had stood in Subeng in Kumasi and said anybody without an account name will not be allowed to register. See how this NDC communication guys will run with it. And Milante has sat in Accra, sitting next door to the president every day at the castle, presiding over ethnic cleansing in Odio. And not a word has come from the president. Right? The next time we heard, the next thing we heard from the president when he went to the central region, that he's not a policeman. A professor of law.
But it turns out that the vice president emphasizes
the thinking of the government,
the enforcement aspects of the government.
Yes.
Because in the same speech where he talked about the bulldozer, I think he did say that.
No, I think he was being sarcastic.
He was being sarcastic.
To President Kufuor's admonition.
Okay.
Right? He was just being sarcastic.
Okay.
And the so-called peaceful John Mahama. We are all seeing the peaceful nature of these people, the humility in these people. We are seeing it now. Because President Kufuor was in Washington and he advised that the treason was the most highest single offense in the country. So the president must sort of, revise his notes. The next minute, he goes to a meeting in Kumasi, addressing students of 10, and then he uses the opportunity to more or less disrespect President Kufuor. So these are worrying times indeed. But I'll leave the economic bit to Honorable Jaku to comment on.
No, for me, it's all the same.
It's just let us go back to the fundamentals. I think that this country is at a crossroads, and it is important that the one that Ghanaians have voted for and entrusted the destiny of in the destiny of this country into his hands for at least until December must really rise up to the occasion. I think that my view or my understanding is that everybody is talking about it. I want to believe that civil society, the amalgamation of civil society organizations are pointing in that direction. It is time to show leadership. It is time to rein in the horses. Things are not going well. And I expect His Excellency the President, as a father of this nation, to stand up to say, look, guys, all of you are my children. Things are not going well. Let me douse the fires. Let me calm tempers. Because, you see, what worries me is that ultimately we might be seeking the political kingdoms. But the fine economists in this country, the giants of industry in this country are telling us that your search for the political kingdom is doing this economy
a great deal of harm.
Untold harm. And what shall it profit all of us if we gain power for another 4 years, but there's no economy to
back the power.
To back the power. So I think at this juncture it is important. I mean, look, President Mills, wherever he is, it is unfortunate that the Vice President came out and said this. Like he said, all of us have thought that the man was mild, the man was moderate, the man was very accommodating. I am disappointed. I mean, that is the least I can say. One would have thought that at this critical point, when for the first time in this country we are beginning to talk about genocide, treason we have had in the past when there were military interventions.
And the thing is, their party was built on genocide and treason.
We can call it that.
All of a sudden, for the first time in the history of this country, we are beginning to talk about genocide and terrorism. And one would expect that when the fever is at such a high pitch, leadership would come in and say, I mean, I don't know what Akufo-Addo can do. He's opposition leader. It is at this stage that His Excellency the President must come in and say, guys, let us resolve these issues.
That is the quality of leadership.
Quality of leadership. I mean, President Mills must definitely show some leadership in the matter now.
Because
Definitely.
the party has acted, the MPP has acted. Nana Akufo-Addo is the leader of the MPP.
Yes.
2 statements have been issued by the MPP, and these statements are categorically clear that we do not condone ethnic divisiveness, and we expect fairness from the institutions of state. The president must demonstrate leadership.
Yes, I think so. I mean, I have heard that some people on the opposite side keep insisting that they want to hear Nana Addo on this matter. I mean, I think that Nana Addo and NPP are one and the same. I mean, once the party has issued a statement, it is of no consequence that he comes to say another thing, until and unless he is directly in the arena. The man is not here. The party has issued a statement.
Yeah, but he is the leader of the party.
Yes. I want to believe that it is what the party has said. It's synonymous with what Akufo-Addo is saying. But at this stage, we are postulating that the leader of this country, the father of this country, is His Excellency the President. If you're a father in a house and you have 2 children and they are fighting, it comes to a point where who has done right or who has done wrong is immaterial. Your children are going to start a fire in the house.
Yes.
The critical issue is to stop the fight. After all, there is Canada, Japan would have his day in court. There is a criminal part which is in court. But immediately, the tensions are rising, the political tension is rising, and it has, for me, what worries me most is that it has a direct bearing on the economy.
Yeah.
It has, and when these things happen, all of us know. I mean, a sense of deja vu. You know, in 2000, the currency dropped from 3,500 to 7,000.
Yes.
I mean, the same feeling comes back to you.
That's right.
That's
wreck the CD before you leave.
Yes.
With reckless action.
It is the
same guys in charge.
Same guys in charge.
Same
was the Bank of Ghana.
Same guys in charge.
I was the deputy finance minister.
Same guys in charge. And then you begin to think that, don't they understand? Probably because you get free petrol. Probably because you get everything for free. But all of us out there, it is difficult. It's a difficult situation already. And this will only make it worse.
That's right.
Okay. I postulate that we must not let the politics of this country make the economic situation of the ordinary people worse. I mean, otherwise,
because as the CD slides, things get more expensive.
As the CD slides, go to everybody who imports, and I'm saying that 60 or 70% of this economy is import driven.
Yes. So
the candle my grand aunt uses in the village. It's imported from China.
That's right.
So, if the CD has moved from 1.5 to almost 2 CDs, my grand aunt who lives in Akumesu must find some more pesos
to buy the same
candle.
At this point in time, it is obvious that we can't afford to play politics with the economy, because that is exactly what is going on when leadership cannot qualitatively assess its own language in terms of moderating forces in the political. You know what? If you have an import partner in China or Malaysia who has to bring you goods for sale on the Ghanaian market, and he hears that you have a terrorist in your country, what will he remember? Or what will he recall? I think what he will recall is Osama bin Laden out there somewhere with a plane or 2, and therefore he will hesitate before he ships your goods. That's the kind of strangulation that political action can have, the kind of strangulatory effect that it can have on the economy. In many of the cases that have happened so far, the same terrorism case, we had a lawyer say on air that we, the NDC lawyers, are going to prefer these charges against Mr. Kennedy Ejapong. So in effect, what we have is that you have a group of lawyers outside the normal Attorney General system who are determining and dictating what happens to the legal processes. And if that is the case, are they taking into account the fact that the government ought to be independent from the party to the extent that the government must govern for all Ghanaians, and that the government cannot be an instrument that the party swings around whilst it is in government. Mr. Jackman, am I making myself clear?
Yes, you are.
In a sense, politicizing governance beyond the need for fair parameters.
I think it is my classmate David Allen that mentioned this.
That's right.
Then you begin to wonder whether there's a distinction between the NDC legal team and probably it is one.
The same, one and the same.
One and the
so
same.
in what you miss case, they break up.
Yes.
But half of them represent him, the other half represents the government.
The state,
then when
yes.
it gets to Kennedy Ejiofor, they come back together.
Yes, absolutely.
And then put in terrorism.
It does appear that this is what is happening. But again, I think it is unfortunate. It does not augur well for governance. You know, I am not a lawyer, and I am careful about the things I say when it comes into the things that I have no expertise at all. But I think that we must allow government to work, and we must allow. We all concede that it is the party that won the elections.
Yeah.
But once the elections are won and government is formed, after all, Kennedy Ejiofor is in court. And his charges, it is the Republic versus Kennedy Ejiofor.
That's right. It is not the NDC versus Kennedy Ejiofor.
No, it is the Republic. All of us constitute the Republic. Okay. And so therefore, I think that this they must find a way to stop this. I mean, I want to believe that it is not in good taste when we cannot make a clear distinction between government and party. Number two, I also really, again, forgive my ignorance of the law, but I think that when the judge that sat on the case, is it His Lordship Justice Quist?
Yes, the second bail case.
The second bail case.
Yes.
I think he was quite emphatic and was pointing to the fact that these charges will not hold. No. You are the lawyer. You must correct me if I.
Yes.
Indeed, if
he believed the charges were way in excess of the facts.
Indeed, if I was on that side of town, I think that I would have advised the Attorney General then to because if the matter is before the judge has clearly indicated that when you come before me with this matter.
You see, but that is the problem we are facing now, Eugene. Is the Attorney General in charge?
It is not.
Martin Amidu, citizen vigilante, goes in as Attorney General. The one person who was supposed to be fighting corruption in the government at the time, under the mandate of the president, goes in, files a writ that says, we have somebody who has fraudulently stolen money from the government, and I, the Attorney General for the government, I'm going to recover it. And that is classified as gross misconduct, and he is sacked.
Yes.
Now you put in another Attorney General, and lawyers who are said to be the NDC legal team then come out and say, we are preferring charges in a case that is a republic versus an individual. Is the Attorney General in charge?
It's not. It's not. But yeah, I mean, we can clearly see political equalization at work. In the words of the president, it's 1-1 draw. They have oil made down. You also have Kennedy Ejiofor. So it's equalization.
His is a case of something, and his is a case of treason and genocide.
Yeah, treason and genocide, yes. He wasn't lucky enough to have the money. So anyway, I mean, it's an election year, right? They want to create as much confusion, as much, what should I say, as much, I'm looking for a word, instability in the political environment, just to make sure that they win the election. You know, the NDC
But does that benefit the
Ghanaian,
the economy?
But yeah, who says the NDC is interested in the economy of Ghana? Who says so?
That's interesting.
No, but you should know. Look at the political history of the two traditions, the Dankwa Dumbuguze tradition and the so-called NDC. They've never been interested in the economy of Ghana. Their only or primary interest is to win elections
and hold on to
power. Full stop. They're not interested. You look at a graphic reportage. It says when the local currency was redenominated in July 2007, it traded at 0.92 cedi to $1. By the close of 2008, it had fallen to par at 1 Ghana cedi to $1.
That is when Kufuor was leaving.
That's when Kufuor was leaving. Since the beginning of the year 2012, the national currency has depreciated by 8.3% against the dollar, compared to the 2% depreciation you saw in the same period in 2011. This is the daily graphic, the National Daily reporting. This is not the Statesman or MPP affiliated newspaper. This is the daily graphic. So it shows you the mentality, like the national chairman said, the same people are back in charge. President Mills, head of the economic management team, John Mahama was part of it. Dr. Kobradufo
was governor.
And Jabesh Emita was the deputy finance minister. They're the same people in charge.
It's not Jabesh.
Jabesh Kwesi.
No, it's
not Jabesh. It's not Jabesh. He's a Misata.
KBM, yes. You see, so yeah, they've never been interested. If they are really interested in managing the affairs of this country vis-a-vis the economy, yeah, I don't think they'll be doing this in an election year. When everybody can clearly see that they're losing the election.
Okay.
Right? So it's all distractions. Right?
Yeah,
Try and check enough
economic power, political power at all costs. Ruin the economy. The economy can
typical
go
CPP, Kwame Nkrumah mentality. Win the election, the rest will follow. They're not interested. They don't have anything in place. Yeah. And when they say they are communicated around banding figures, low inflation, yeah. Are you feeling it?
Yeah, I said, a friend of mine this afternoon said that we are the fastest growing economy and the fastest depreciating currency.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
it's an irony.
As at the beginning of the year, it was 1.5 to a dollar. Today, it is 1.9.
And we are in April.
Yes, we are in April.
And things are going to get worse.
I think everybody was forecasting that it probably will get to 2 by December. But at this rate,
3.
we might get.
You'll be accused of talking down the city.
Oh, I am not. The reality is out there. The reality is out there in the market.
The government has to accept that the reality is that
out there
it is
in the
a political situation which is damaging the city. Yes. Are they prepared to accept that reality? Do you think so?
They do accept it in the confines of their own homes and other classes. They do accept that they have failed woefully the people of this country. Right? They have nothing to tell. Look, I was telling you, why are we interested in policy fairs and green book launches? You campaign on a manifesto. Right? You're going to find a clear software, and have you found them? That's what Ghanaians will be. Those are the questions Ghanaians will be asking you. Yeah, you promised to fight corruption. Jail enforcement. Have you jailed them?
Yes.
Right?
Well, they just acquitted Oseje.
Right?
Yes. All of us are.
We will find the killers of Roko Frimpong. Yeah. Have they done that? Yeah. These were the issues they raised in the campaign year. Yeah. Right? And these are the questions that Ghanaians will be asking of them. You know, come December 7th. Right? Ghanaians are not interested in policy fairs and green book launches and stuff. And you know what is the green book? There's a hippie school in Senieja in the Fifth district. Right? They reprinted it and put it in the
several other incidents like that. The Chiriponi Hospital that they reprinted and put in many of the things they are just reprinted.
I think all of this is quite unnecessary. Like he's saying, they came out very clearly on some issues.
Yes.
Very, very, very clearly on some issues. And those issues are the things that we must be asking. I mean, let's face it. I mean, anybody who has listened to the discourse over the past 3 years, what does the NDC, what do they talk about apart from school under trees?
Oh, no, let me interrupt you. They spent the whole of last year denigrating the flag bearer of the MPP. They could have had policy first. They spent the whole of last year denigrating Nana Akufo-Addo and everything he stood for, right? And then we are talking, almost May, we are talking about policy fairs and green book launches. Who is interested? What happened to the Yana killers? What happened to the corruption? What happened to the Ghana 50 trials? Tell us about them.
Yeah, and I think that even the kind of things they talk about, I mean, maybe as an afterthought, when they have realized that it doesn't wash to just for 1 year do nothing but speak about some other person. Then all of a sudden, let's face it, what are they really talking about? In the 4 years. I mean, somebody must tell me. You know, I'm not an economist, so I'm a pharmacist. So I want to stick to the things. Man. Yes, I want to stick to the things that I know.
Economy is about businessmen.
Let's face it. What policy would NDC say? Talking about school and activities is an activity as far as I'm concerned. It is not a policy, it is an activity. every government,
will do it.
Every government must deliver on some of these things.
Basic needs.
I mean, for a long time, for a period of time, I was a presiding member of my district assembly. We used to give out school uniforms. So it is nothing new. I had occasion to go and commission 1 or 2 schools that were under trees. Nothing new. And they talk about 1,200 trees. I think that we must ask that they should account for all of those. They talk about 1,200. They should point out to us in every. Let's do some simple arithmetic. Let us assume there are 200 districts in this country, and on the average, let us divide 1,200 over 200. You would get 60 or 60 per every district. Yeah. So they should point out to us. I mean, I would love to, and I think, as a party, we must begin to ask some tough questions. When President Kufuor built HIPIC toilets, when he used HIPIC money to build facilities, all of them were designated. I think that we would ask our NDC friends to designate the school so that we will see them, because they keep talking. And really and truly, as far as I'm concerned, if you take away the school under trees, really and
free
truly,
school uniforms.
I say that I was presiding member. We used to give out school uniforms in my district.
So it's nothing new. They're interested in Kumasi Metropolis, right? They went to government school, I said. They only give six school uniforms. They went to my father's old school, St. Peter's Boys. No single uniform was given out there. In Kumasi Metropolis.
They will tell you that they are doing it in the but I can tell you, the urban poor, sometimes the woes and afflictions of the urban poor is worse than the woes and affliction of the rural poor.
Yes.
The Green Book will rise and fall on their own rhetoric. And if that rhetoric damages...
Hasn't it fallen already?
Well, if it damages the economy, then it needs to be stillborn. All the money spent publishing it will be financial loss to the state. That's government money used to publish that book. Absolutely. We've been trying to examine the link between political rhetoric in the political environment, political space, and the performance of the economy. Eugene Boachienchu is a member of the MPP National Council, is here with me. Emmanuel Ejakun is the MPP parliamentary candidate, also West Wuogon as well. You can join us on the phone lines 0302 211 701 or 702, 0302 211 701 or 702. You can join us on the phone lines. Now, Mr. Ejakun, in all of this, where does the MPP stand? Going forward, I think it's time we moved forward. Going forward, where does the MPP stand? I already have a call from Bongo. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Yao.
Yes, sir.
Yao, this is Jonathan from Bongo High Street.
Yes, sir.
Bongo never agreed.
Nah, ba.
Excellent. Madam Diana Puya, elector of Oga Pole, and the parliamentary candidate for Bongo, Inshallah, the MP for Bongo constituency, agreed. Yeah, good. This evening, Mr. Japon and Mr. Eugene, they said about the school uniform. Look, they are saying that they are providing it in the rural area too. I consider Bongo to be a rural area, but as I'm speaking to you, you have to live the primary, Bongo LA primary. None of the schools have gotten the school uniforms. So we don't know whether we are not part of Ghanaians or we don't also deserve uniforms to also be worn to school. And apart from that, about the political vindictiveness, I'm very, 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 very sad about the president's statement this evening, or was it yesterday? And I don't know whether Vice President watched the African elections in 2008, the video that was being produced by one journalist in US. If he watched it, or if he has not watched it, he should go back and watch it and listen to what Roger Metonunu said. Roger Metonunu said he is going outside to the street to organize people to fight. What was more reasonable than that? What about Nilan Tobanapo, the president's right-hand man? What did he say? If he takes him to spill blood to win or to do a constituency, he will do it. What was more reasonable than that? What about Baba Jamal that he declared? I'm coming from a Muslim family, and I've ever attended Muslim schools, and I know what jihad means. And there's nobody who will tell us that jihad doesn't mean declaring war. And what are they doing to Baba Jamal? They've even promoted him to a ministry. Even our own president, what did he say in the 2008 State of Nation address? He said he was declaring war on all die fans. All that dive, I'm an all that dive fan because I'm going to sit. I'm not going to sit. I'm going to stand against all oppressors that may try to sit on my interest out. And we are saying that those people, if they think that what Kennedy Agyapong said was reasonable, then they should go back and check Rojo Metununu, Nilante Vanapoy, Baba Jama, and our own president who declared red alert on certain Ghanaians. Thank you very much, Yao.
Thank you very much. Now, I was... Mohammed. Yes, sir.
Good evening, your Chief Finance Day.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, this is Mohammed, a call from Border Atlantic. Mr. Yao, today, Vice President enter Upper East region. By enter convoy, Land Cruiser and Nizam Petrol, 35 cars.
35 cars?
35. Now, last 3 days, I stayed in Katia, they border, boy and Sare. General Secretary for NDC. They ran Upper East in Sare, Motoki. Something is never happy. And since Ukumatam up now, this moment government is very, very sad. Your mama come out to tell Ghanaians about corruption. Now your mama is campaigning corruption. The one itself.
Oh, hello. We've lost your line. David. David, Kintampo, are you there? Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Boabe, and to your panelists.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying NDC people are just desperate to be in power, to recapture power in 2012. But we, the NDC members in Kintampo, we are very strong and we are working hard. And we are also saying that Nana Akufo-Addo has nothing to tell the Ghanaians. The party has spoken, and I hope that is whatever Ghanaian must accept. NDC cannot force us to say things that Ghanaians are expected of. So the party has spoken. So they should stop and deal with the economy and stop forcing people to make statements that are not accepted. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ebenezer.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from Takwa.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's concerning the schools and the teachers and the other project they talk of. Hello.
Yes, we are listening to you. The whole world is listening to you.
I call this project, excuse me for my way, I call them foolproof project. Even if, any foolproof project, even when you vote a fool as a president, he can still do those things.
Be careful of your language.
We're talking of policies that can change life. Okay?
Yes.
We're talking of policies that can change life. Introduction of health insurance, that cut across every Ghanaian, including the NDC members. So these are the things we are talking of. So what is happening in France now is telling them to prepare, to hand over.
Thank you.
They shouldn't think that 8 years is automatic. It's the wrong thing. You vote, you are just as happening in France. So that's my little contribution.
Thank you very much. Nuruddin.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Nuruddin, go ahead, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Nuruddin calling from Wai Bulenga. In fact, some of us want to hear the vice president saying that he would have, if he was having the chance or opportunity, he would use bulldozer to pass through his way. In fact, it's a sad day for Ghana. If the year Ilan Tebandapoy saying he will use his blood to resist any MPP member, that moves into the DOT. The president who sits in the castle with him cannot advise him. The president himself, when 2008 he said Ghana will look like Kenya, when he doesn't win the elections, nobody. Kufuor was very moderate, very democratic. He didn't even say anything about what the former candidate said. Today, we are seeing a socialist government. You are saying they are social democrats or whatever. They look at how they are behaving. We have all witnessed what is happening at France. One-term president is coming. So that if France is to get one-term president, Attorneys should start packing. We are begging. We don't want this country to look like Kenya. Why is we are working hard? If we come to where they are saying they are in power. Now they are forcing people to our constituency to come and register. From what? Today, I challenge some people at Jiri, one of the places where the president of the assembly is from. So he's pushing people from what to come and register. It's very bad. A government who saying he's working. Come to my school, Kolpong, where I'm the head teacher. They've only brought 36 uniforms. People of 400 people, 34 uniforms. Come and see that day when I wanted to share them. Come and see the confusion. See, this government should stand up. This is not propaganda. It is not time for propaganda. It's time for working. They should work. They should tell us what they are able to do and who challenge them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is not the time for propaganda. It's the time for work. What will the MPP do differently?
When you are government, you do work. When you are opposition, you do
propaganda. So the work of the government is work, yes, not propaganda.
Yes, I think what we need to establish very clearly is that, you see, it's an election year. And we must accept and we admit that we are minority, we are in opposition.
That's right.
I think a necessary condition for us to maintain the peace is that state institutions must work and be seen to be working fairly.
Okay.
The playing field must be level.
Okay.
When these things happen, for instance, we are going through biometric voter registration. As far as I'm concerned, it does appear in probably 80 to 90% of the case to be fair. Okay. When things like this happen, if the state security apparatus is going to be fair, if the Electoral Commission is going to be fair, if all the stakeholders in all the things that we need to do are fair, are level, then I think that we would
the
all
MPP will then
peace.
make
Yes,
sure
then
that
we'll
it's
all maintain the
restrained.
peace. We will be restrained. You see, in any situation, when you feel you are hard done by, you would fight back.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You will fight back. So I really believe that the onus is not so much on us because we don't hold state power. Those that hold state power, those that control state power, must ensure that there is peace. There is fairness. They must ensure that there is fairness.
And the fairness is what will generate the peace.
And the fairness certainly will generate the peace. Indeed, if it is so fair and you are beaten, you are able to concede that I played the match on a level field and a better side won. Right. Until and unless we can convince ourselves that the playing field is level, the issues would keep coming. So therefore, again, the onus goes back to those that hold state power, those that control state power.
Yes, thank you. You have 30 seconds.
Yes, I think the president has given up. Has given up on winning a second term. But yes. I mean, I read a very interesting article by Bokwansa in the Chronicle last week when he compared "I'm not a policeman" to a champions being Yamin Matunsu. So I'm sure he's given up because I mean he campaigned throughout the country on this Asumdwe mantra. Yeah. Right, he's been given power for 4 years, and all we are witnessing is violence upon violence upon violence, intimidation upon intimidation upon intimidation, thuggery upon thuggery upon thuggery. And the president now has to prove to Ghanaians that he's a fake Asumdwe. He's not somebody who really believes in peace. I mean, the arbitrary arrests, the unnecessary prosecutions, the political tension rising up to abnormal levels and what have you. I don't think these are the trademark of a peaceful person. And Ghanaians will really demonstrate that through the ballot box come December 7th, 2012.
Very well. One has heard everything from our callers who are out there, who are supposed to be seeing the impact of the Green Book on their lives. They are telling us that they are not seeing anything. Indeed, they are struggling with the so-called policies. Rather, they believe the government is just propagandizing. Beyond the propaganda, we also believe as a party that the government is not playing fair and that the government's political shenanigans is impacting the economy negatively. Dr. Abe has spoken. I hope they will listen. The AGI has spoken. TUC has spoken.
These are independent.
These are independent bodies who stand to be impacted the most. They are speaking on behalf of civil society. And they are saying that the political mismanagement is damaging the economy. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, a bulldozer is not necessary
to kill an ant.
To kill an ant.
You would miss it, actually.
You will actually miss that. The ant will dribble the bulldozer. It is more maneuverable, it is flexible, and it is faster. On that note, please, Minority Caucus is saying that we expect, under Nana's leadership, to govern a united, peaceful, and functioning country. We want to inherit a functioning country that Nana can lead and transform.